Happy New Year, everyone!
You're like so enthusiastic. Hi guys, Happy New Year. How's that?
Yeah, we could do that, yeah. So, what episode are we on now?
7.
Episode 7. Hit it.
Coming up in this episode,
Packing the Packham.
beautiful Perth continue making this city pretty.
Oh, that's a good one. Riverside Light Nights is back.
And we're talking music with the Sandemans.
Let's do this. It's 2020. We're in a new decade. A decade. What the hell?
Yeah, it's quite funny. I never even clicked that. And then I was seeing all these 10-year challenges and I'm like, oh, okay, that's cute.
Wondering why. What's 10 years? What are you on about? Yeah.
So, but no, that's just me.
Do you remember when all the planes were going to fall out the sky in 1999?
20 years ago.
20 freaking years ago. 20 years ago. I mean, that's insane to think it's been that long since, well, that stuff happened.
The Millennium Bug.
The Millennium Bug. Oh, God. It's just a virus now, isn't it? You know, everyone's got the cold.
No, that was it, because they were like, oh, your computer clock won't cope with the 2000s. Yeah. There's not enough memory in your clock system. Surely they'll have fixed that before the turn of the year.
And apparently they had.
Still, it was exciting times.
It was exciting. You know, what's happened in 2020? Any planes falling out the sky from a computer bug? No, nothing like that. None to report. So what have you been up to? How's your Christmas?
Christmas was good, yeah. Nice and went to plan, which was surprising. I know.
You liar.
So good. Everyone went to plan. Santa delivered like he was meant to.
Good man. Judgmental sod that he is.
And the kids had a great time.
That's all that matters, really, isn't it? We get fed, they have a good time.
I ate far too much.
I'm still eating far too much. I was talking to someone earlier on about the fact that it's going to be good to get back to normality because, you know, your stomach's going, no, please stop. And that's where I'm at just now.
Well, mine's just kind of going, yep, carry on. It's my brain that's going, you shouldn't be doing this. You should not be doing this.
Wrong. Into our event roundup. I've been to Chris Packham at Perth Concert Hall recently, just before Christmas, and mainly to see his photography, because I am a photographer and I love that stuff. And, you know, Chris has autism. So I wanted to see what he saw differently. What is it that, you know, gets him to make a picture? What drives him? And, you know, a good part of that was about photography. There was a good bit about conservation as well. Some interesting ideas that he was on about, like reintroducing wild lynx into wildlife in order to move deer on. So deer are quite destructive. But the reason he's saying that they're destructive is because they hang about in one place, because they don't have to watch their backs. So they decimate one area instead of moving on all the time and going, oh, lynx, better move on. And I find that quite an interesting idea, although a friend of mine did say that'll be my mountain bike days over then, because there's no danger I'm going into the wild. But, you know, there's no way these animals would come near humans. Absolutely no way. But, you know, interesting insight into his life, into, you know, he didn't really talk about autism per se, but he certainly talked about his foibles and his way of life and how things seem and look and feel very different for him. And I had a really interesting talk about where his favourite place to shoot was. You know, was it Loch Lomond? Was it up in the Trossachs? Where was it? No, it was a human cesspool. That's where he wanted to shoot all the time. And the main reason, and he was quite open about this, is because there wasn't many people there. You know, you get that, understand that with the autism and stuff. That was great. But actually the pictures he showed us were fantastic.
Yeah.
The birds would land and they would pick out the wee insects and stuff. But he was literally lying, I mean, not in the cesspool, but to the side of it. He was, you know, inches away from human waste. But the pictures didn't depict that at all. The pictures were just, here's a wildlife bird in an area that you've probably just never seen it before. And he was using the big orange, like, waste tankers as a reflection in the water. So it looked like maybe a sunset, but it wasn't. It was a big orange truck full of poo. Lovely, absolutely. But yeah, so it was a really good show. He definitely went on a few tangents, as I expect him to. And he talked for way longer than he maybe should have, because we were led to believe there was a break. There was certainly not a break. I think by the end of it, there was quite a few cross legs going, okay, Chris, let's go now. But he asked the audience a few questions as well, or asked them to ask questions. And this young chap, really funny, he asked what animal he would want, what wild animal Chris would want as a pet, and why. And you said, well, I'll turn that for you. What animal would you like? And the kid said, I'd like a corn snake. So Chris is like, well, you know, they're quite easy to feed and they're easy to handle and they're quite satisfying. Hey, mum, because his mum was beside him. Hey, mum, yeah, absolutely. So he turned around to the audience and said, who thinks he's going to have a corn snake for Christmas? Big cheers. So I'm hoping that kid now has a corn snake.
And if you're listening, let us know.
Absolutely, get in touch. If you're that kid, let us know.
When you said the human cesspool, I thought that was like his commentary on society or something like that at first.
It might have been, yeah. But yeah, it was really interesting, actually. And the photos he showed us, there were some very different takes on wildlife and the way that they interact with the world, and interesting abstract stuff.
And it's good that Perth got someone like that into the
absolutely.
concert hall. That's what's been good about the concert hall, is they've been able to pull those bigger names in since they got that concert hall.
Well, the venue itself, I think, is fab, isn't it? It's a really nice place, good facilities, plenty of room. I've never sat in there and went, I've got no room.
Yeah.
It's not like being squashed in. I don't feel like I'm a sardine when I'm in there. But yeah, it's been really good. What have you been up to?
Both of us were at the Yard. We went to the Yard Sunday Social.
The Yard.
So if you listen to episode 6, you would have heard us with some of the audio from there. We were both there, but Ian did more of the talking to people because that's what he does.
Can't shut me up.
But no, I really enjoyed that. That was like, even though it was cold and wet, that didn't actually...
I mean, let's make no bones about it. It was a miserable day. It was windy. The rain was coming down in buckets, but it put nobody off at all. It was so good.
Yeah.
The bands were playing under this massive sort of, it wasn't tarpaulin, but certainly some sort of cover.
Yeah.
And folk were sitting there listening to them. There was no running away from this weather. Folk were determined to come, and they came. And the stalls as well, they were good, weren't they?
And the pizza.
Oh, the pizza was nice, yeah.
As we heard in the last episode, Pizza Via were there, and I had one of their pepperoni pizzas, and it was moi.
Is that Italian?
Yeah, that's the only Italian I know. Apart from it's a me, Mario.
It's a me, Mario. No, it's good stuff. The Yard, I mean, the way we talked, if you listen to the podcast, we talked to the event organiser, we spoke to a few other people. There's lots more of events like this coming in the coming months, over the next year. So we're going to cover as much as we can before and hopefully on the day as well.
Yeah.
So get yourselves down to the Yard down at the Ice Factory and keep an eye out for them on Facebook, the Yard Perth. And yeah, they'll let you know what's coming up and when it's coming up, hopefully in the better weather.
Yeah.
What else you been doing?
Surviving Christmas. I did go back to the panel like I said I would.
Yeah.
To the kids, they loved it. That's over now.
That's it, and what a great stint. And the reviews that were coming in, I don't know if you saw the reviews, but they're very, very good.
I wrote one.
Oh, check you out. Hey, what are you all about? But the reviews were off the chart, every time. 4 out of 5 standard, some 5 out of 5s, really good. And, Barry, the Dame, our Perth Dame for the last, 7 years, I think it was?
Something like that, yeah.
He wrote it, and keep going, Barry.
Yeah.
But no, I really enjoyed being there, and it was good to see you taking the kids back, and I never made it, but there we go. Anyway, I've done my back in as well. I'm sitting here in half agony on pills. So
yeah,
legal pills, kids. Don't do drugs. Just like previous episodes, we've got a very special guest in this week. We like to aim for the sort of Perth heroes, like we keep talking about, folk who make Perth a much better place to live. And beautiful Perth joined us. Monica from beautiful Perth were in the studio and was in the studio. She wasn't multiple people. She was in the studio and we spoke to Monica about beautiful Perth and about volunteering, and of course they won something pretty huge this year. So Monica, hi.
Hello, Ian. How are you?
I'm good. Good to have you in the studio. We've worked together before, of course, a lot of photographs and videos and stuff like that. We have. We won't go there. That's been a long time. Neither of us want to know the amount of time, let's face it. But yeah, beautiful Perth. You want to tell us a wee bit about what beautiful Perth is, where it stemmed from, and what you do?
Yep. Well, Beautiful Perth's a charity, first of all. It was first set up way back in 1989, so it's 30 years old this year. Started off about litter. People were complaining about litter. There was an American film director came over and walked away from filming because the litter was so bad. So Chamber of Commerce, Tourist Board, Council all got together and started this. Pretty soon it turned into Perth in Bloom. So it was about litter and the environment. It's also about flowers and making the city look good. So
which is probably a more recognisable name, actually, Perth in Bloom. You know, of recent years, beautiful Perth, yes, but Perth in Bloom, the In Bloom name is quite common around Scotland, isn't it? Let's face it. So you've moved on from just picking litter to being much more than that. Let's face it. What recent projects have you undertaken?
Oh, we've got quite a lot of projects on the go at the moment. One that's still environmental related is Zero Waste Perth.
Yes.
That's a big project for us in partnership with the college and the council. Got £300,000 of European money via Zero Waste Scotland.
Right, wow.
So, over the 3-year period. So we're nearly at the end of it, unbelievably, the 3-year period. But we've done all sorts of things there of showing people how to upcycle, recycle, either furniture or clothing items that they can repair and reuse. It's all about, reducing the waste we produce. Reducing the plastic, David Attenborough and all that.
Oh, yeah.
The trouble with plastic. So
massive issue
across the world. And it's just as important here in Perth as anywhere else.
Absolutely. And the Zero Waste space that was opened in St John's Centre, I think will be quite recognisable to quite a few people. Now, I've reason to believe, beautiful Perth have got a very good reason to celebrate just now. So do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Well, not only is it our 30th anniversary this year, but we were...
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. We were nominated to be in the 2019 Britain in Bloom Champion of Champions category.
Right.
Now, that's the very pinnacle. It's the Royal Horticultural Society's competition. 200,000 people across the UK take part.
200,000 people?
200,000
wow.
people.
Right, okay.
1,600 groups enter the Britain in Bloom. 80 or so are nominated for the finals, and the champions is the top one.
Wow.
And we went down.
And that's Perth.
And that's Perth. We went down on the 25th of October to the awards ceremony in London, and we walked away with the Champion of Champions title. So we're absolutely ecstatic about it.
In a completely sober state, I assume, Monica.
Oh,
yes, got it. Yeah.
You're suggesting a drink was taken? Never.
Perth are Champion of Champions.
We're Champion of Champions.
Perth is,
and that was because of, the Zero Waste, we've just been talking about the environmental projects like that, but also things like Riverside Park. We won an award for that as well, the Best Park
and
award.
That's the Heather Garden.
The Heather Garden, it's the whole of Riverside Park, which is Norrie Miller Walk, the Rodney Gardens, the Heather Garden, and we've got a garden there called the Compassionate Friends Garden for there, which is mostly wildflowers in a quiet area that people can contemplate in. So it's been a marvellous.
Well, actually, our first guest in the first ever episode of the Perth podcast, Chris Small, we asked him if you had one thing to tell tourists to do in Perth, what would it be? And he suggested exactly that. It's to go down to Riverside.
Yeah.
And that was it. That's what you came up with. Of all the things I thought might come up, that was I wasn't surprised, but equally I was like, yeah, actually you're right, Chris. That is a fantastic
You can do
place
a circular walk, and there's the artworks all the way around. So you walk along Chase Street, over Queen's Bridge, through Nolly Miller Park, the Rodney Gardens, Riverside, along.
And come back via the railway bridge, isn't it? Bridge, which of course is where the allotments are as well, over the other side. So, a real showcase for Perth. So there are folks, beautiful Perth. Get volunteering, and if nothing else, just support their cause. Champion of Champions.
Champion of Champions. I like the sound of that. So well done, beautiful Perth, and thanks for the interview, Monica. It's been great.
It sounds really good. I like the ring.
Yeah.
Into that. Champion of Champions.
We should aim for that with the podcast as well.
Yeah.
Perth podcast. Not too bad.
Dead average. I do expect it to come with a belt like in wrestling. Champion of Champions! Monica coming out with a big belt over her shoulder. Yeah. Right, so what's coming up in Perth?
Well, we've got one of the big events for the start of the year.
Oh, yes.
Is the Riverside Light Nights.
Yeah, absolutely. And doesn't this one go down well? I don't know anyone that doesn't like this event. This is so good. So if anyone's been under a rock in Perth recently and haven't seen this or moved to Perth recently, I suppose, the Riverside Light Nights is basically a bunch of amazing looking lights to music and with live music and with food and with people and entertainment all down at Rodney Gardens.
Yeah, so it's almost like a sort of Enchanted Forest Riverside version in a way, on a smaller scale, but it is still, and it's getting bigger every year. Yeah,
it's in this year as well. We've got, it's actually shorter this year, but to me, I think it sounds like the quality's gone up again.
Yeah.
No, that's never not been quality because, my goodness, I haven't been to any of them that I thought this is rubbish.
Did you see the queues? Was it last year for the Batmobile?
Yes. I was doing the photographs for the people at the Batmobile last year.
You never told me that part.
Well, you didn't pay me enough. But yeah, so we were doing that before the place opened. And the guy that, he didn't own it, the guy that was with the Batmobile, we were talking to him and he looks after the cars for the owner. And he had pretty much every Batmobile. So the Tumbler, the one for the Adam West one that was here 2 years ago,
right? Yep.
Also the same guy's car. And what was he said he was working on something else at the time as well to complete the collection. I can't remember what it was, but I was too busy drilling. Probably. Oh my God, this is so good. But he was fab, and the guy playing Batman, he was so enthusiastic. If anyone won one of those photograph shoots with Batman, he was just so much fun, and he never came out of character.
I was going to say, if Batman came up to me enthusiastic, I'd be like, you're not Batman. You're not the real Batman.
Don't pull his beard off. Oh wait.
And well, last year, my rewards, they were offering a free perk for members as well, which was to get your picture taken before. Was that what you were doing? Right?
Yeah, that's what I was doing. So we opened up just before opening time. I think it was for about an hour and a half beforehand when we had queues of people coming in to get the photograph taken with Batman and the Batmobile, and it was fab. Night two, funny story though, the guy playing Doctor Who left his TARDIS behind the Batmobile and was nowhere to be found. So I'm like, how'd you hide a TARDIS behind the Batmobile? But he eventually came and took it away.
So that's running from the 25th of January to the 2nd of February, but it's
also not that far away, Stobie. That is not. Really
close. By the time this comes out, that's like 2 weeks away. Jeez,
wow. Get better look at the woolly hats and the gloves, because if there's one thing guaranteed, it's cold. But it is an incredible night out. So we changed this year, though, I'm seeing here as well. So there are themed nights, as there always is, but some of them are actually paid for. Which
is new for this year, is that there is entry. Like, you have to pay to get in to some of the nights. Not every night, but some of the nights. So on the 25th and 26th of Jan, we've got the Burns Night theme, and that's free. And then on the 27th of January, we've got Music in the Park, which is also free.
On the 28th and 29th of January, we have the School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, which starts at 5 o'clock and finishes at 9 o'clock. Now, I believe there's some big stars coming to this.
Well, yeah, this is the thing. So we've got 3 actors from the Harry Potter movies coming. You're not a Harry Potter fan, are you?
I am not. I don't dislike him. I just really don't know much about it.
So we've got Chris Rankin, who plays Percy Weasley, the Weasleys are quite a... one of the main characters is a Weasley, and it's his family, so it's one of the older brothers. He's going to be there, and we've also got Jamie Waylett and Josh Herdman, who play Crabbe and Goyle. And the Crabbe and Goyle were kind of the two of the sidekicks to the main villain in the school world, if that makes sense. There was an overarching villain, but Harry had a sort of rival as well.
I've glazed over.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, so they're Draco Malfoy's sidekicks, so they're going to be there as well. For that, and that is going to be £5 entry to get into that. If you are under 5, then it's free entry.
I'm not going to pass for under 5, am I? No. I could try.
You feel free to try.
Put my shoes on my knees and walk along. Hello. See what happens.
You have to shave.
That's good though. Under fives for free. That's a great offer. That's good. And obviously with these stars coming, £5 entry is not a biggie, I don't think. No, we'll have to try and wangle our way in there for a wee interview, I think.
Yeah. Well, that's not the only thing that's going on. It's not just Meet the Stars, because they've got a broom set up on a green screen.
The broons. I'm in.
Pause there. They've got a broom set up on a green screen as well, so that you can have your picture taken. I don't know if it's playing Quidditch or flying through the sky or what,
but something.
Yes.
We can Photoshop that in later. That's the point, isn't it?
My kids are going to love this.
Yep, you can have that. I'll go on another night. I'm sure I'll be there, no doubt at all. So there we are. That's the 28th and 29th of Jan for the School of Witchcraft and Wizardry with the Harry Potter stars. And then on the 30th and 31st of January, we have Jurassic Park. Now, that's also £5 entry and free for under twos, that one.
Yeah, so worth noting the age difference there for the free.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm assuming there's probably more for the young ones to do at the Jurassic Park night.
Yes. And then on the 1st and 2nd of February, we have the Chinese New Year celebrations there, which will be free again.
And we'll probably have the parade with the dragons on the streets as well. That normally starts outside Tay Street, but don't quote me on that. This year it might change, but certainly the last couple of years they've started that outside 2 High Street, and they've marched over the bridge with the dragons and the big parade and stuff, and it looks fantastic with the Perth district. I've forgotten the name again.
Oh, what are you playing
with the Perth and District Pipe Band.
I got it. Them. Yeah. Sorry,
so they're normally at the front piping away, leading the parade over. It's a great sight, and the guys that run the Dragons are just fab. I actually shot an event for that group of people a couple of years back, and they're such a good laugh and so friendly and so energetic and into it. I get tired just watching them. But yeah, so there's going to be food, drinks, lots of other great surprises to delight you in each of the nights. So put like your woolly hats and your warmest boots and mark it in your diary now. So that's the 25th of January through to the 2nd of February.
And what's also they've got here is, as part of Riverside Light Nights, Perth will host Music in the Park on Monday the 27th of January, like I'd already said. So expect live music, special guests and entertainment within the Norrie Miller Park from 5 till 9.
Brilliant.
Yep, and that's free of charge as well.
Free, absolutely. Sounds good.
What else have we got coming up?
So I actually spotted this event. I thought this was worth a mention, A Taste of the Past. And this is running between the 14th of January and the 21st of March at Perth Museum. So we're getting to explore how Perth has changed over the years with this photographic exhibition featuring 11 shops in and around the city. Each of these shops, hotels, cafes, restaurants and bakeries tell a story about food in Perth using photographs taken between 1876 to 1948 and right up to today.
Wow.
That's a lot of time span to cover. I think there's been little sneak peeks during the week through the Perth Museum Instagram account. I've spotted a few coming out of the old High Street. And there's all, you're looking at going, wow, it wasn't pedestrianised for a start. There was still cars, not many cars, but there was cars. But everyone had an awning outside their shop. Everyone. There's just awnings everywhere,
Oh, man, I need to have a look at
this. With the wind we get these days, that wouldn't last long. So, it sounds really good though. So, these buildings are still in use, and in fact, some are even the same business as they were back then. That's quite incredible.
Yeah. I'm trying to think which ones would be.
You'll have to go and find out still.
Yeah, okay. So take the time to look at these buildings and notice elements of the structures that have changed over the years and find out about the characters and history behind these businesses. This project is part of the Perth Placemakers element of the City Hall participation plan.
Wow, that was a mouthful.
I'm so glad we've got a pop filter on this mic. The images have been selected from the photographic collection at Perth Museum and Art Gallery, and also from within the Perth and Kinross archive, which is at the AK Bell Library in Perth.
Oh, that sounds good. I'll definitely be at that. That sounds really good. I love all that stuff, And I did a project recently which involved an annual event in Perth, and I went to the library to find out what they had to use in the programme, and honestly, you're finding things from 1930s in almost mint condition. And, who else has that? No one has that. No. They've done a great job of conserving all this stuff, or preservation, a word like that.
Yes.
Anyway.
Well done.
Thanks. You did the project part of the Perth Placemakers element, so I've got the other side of that.
Have you
Seen
one word? Seen the Friends episode with Gary Oldman? Ian sitting dripping.
So that sounds really good. That's 14th of January to the 21st of March at Perth Museum.
See, when it says 2020, I'm like, is that going on for over a year?
No, that's this year. This year, 2020.
Yeah, I know.
Friendly reminder, folks, this is 2020.
Still not used to that.
Yeah.
Isn't that like part of the New Year bingo game? Like, I'm not used to writing the new year.
Yeah. Listen, I used to work for the newspapers, and the amount of time I got the year wrong on the newspaper pages. I knew that. Yeah, I'm just going to change that now. Just testing you. You passed.
Yeah.
So what else we got? So currently at the concert hall, and this has been on. It's on just now. Sorry, is a lot of the needlework and the costumes from previous pantomimes. So there's headwear, accessories that have been designed, modified and constructed by Edinburgh College graduating students under the guidance of designers Anya Glinsky and Liz McCafferty. So there's loads and loads. I think it's just in the foyer, if I remember correctly, in Perth Theatre, and you can just walk in and see these amazing outfits. One of the outfits was for Barry, again, because he's been here for so long. And he looks like a Christmas tree, and it looks like they've used tinsel and things.
I remember that one,
It looks incredible. Looks heavy, though.
Yeah. Was that not on for like a finale or something like that?
I think so, yeah. But it looked absolutely fantastic. You couldn't wait for the whole show, that's for sure.
No.
The concert hall, the old costumes are on display until Wednesday, 29th of January, so get along because there's not a lot of time left to see that.
Yeah, that'll only be about 2 weeks.
Yeah, shut up. It'll be February before we know it.
What else is coming up, Ian?
At the moment, the Twa Tams down there on Scott Street. Yep, Scott Street. They are holding a Battle of the Bands, and that's a phrase I've not heard for a long time in Perth, Battle of the Bands. And basically, the winner of this competition, the band that win this, will be able to get a slot at Party at the Park, which is being held in the South Inch on June the 27th and June the 28th later on this year. So that should be interesting. It's actually happening just now. We've missed a couple of weeks already by the time this is launched. But yeah, get yourselves down to Twa Tams.
Support those bands.
Support them, absolutely.
You might discover.
Music scene. We need one.
Yeah, you might discover something you like.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be great to see whoever wins that go through and play on a big stage somewhere.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And that's it for upcoming events.
Yeah, that's that. That was quick. There's probably more, but it's a new year and I'm still drugged up. So
we've been out of the office for a wee while now.
It's a bit weird being back in, actually.
Yeah. So episodes 5 and 6 weren't our usual format, so we're just trying to get back into it, aren't we?
Yeah, trying to get back into the routine and stuff. And here we are. Yay!
Hi guys. As we said before, Perth is full of musical talent. Perth has got a brilliant creative scene, and we're just trying to highlight some of that and tapping into some of that. And you managed to catch up with one of our local bands, didn't you?
The Sandemans came in for a wee talk, absolutely. Let's hear how they got on. Hello, who we got? Introduce yourselves.
Dean, I'm the vocalist.
Nailak.
Sure, I'm the guitarist.
Oh, the important one. Yeah, so I think the first time I came across you guys were about 2 years ago when you played the Christmas Light Switch On, mainly because I'm old and not in the scene anymore. And we've just done a Christmas Light Switch On special not that long ago. So I suppose let's start with that experience playing that stage, the Christmas Light Switch On. How did you find it?
Daunting.
Overwhelming. See, the week before it though, it was like, right, we've just got. I mean, it was only our third gig, so we were sort of
Whatever.
third gig ever.
Wow.
So
Okay.
we played Bar 44 before that in front of about 200 people. Played at the Tulloch Institute in front of about 100, 150 people, sort of like that. So then we were like, all right, we've got this, right? Because it was not the main stage. We're like, right, it wouldn't be that packed. It's only 5 o'clock, right? Got on there, right?
Stage
jaw just hit the floor at this point.
Stage fright.
Crowd went all the way back to next.
Not to get away from your music, but
The Jack Daniels helped the nerves. Like,
Dutch courage, mate. Dutch courage, that's the way. So a daunting thing to walk in front of that many people and do
Don't you
that,
think we were 17 at the time, probably?
17-year-old,
Oh, wow,
expecting something like
You
that.
probably
Like,
should be talking Jack Daniels at 17, but
And you went down well as well, from what I remember. The crowd were buzzing. You've obviously got some following there, and especially for your young age and your youngness of the band. So, downhill from there, or have things moved on?
no, went right after that. Went uphill. It was like right after that. It was sort of we had the gig 44 again, and it was at the 44 that we were offered, because we support Palermo, and their manager offered us, he does, I don't know what he does, but he promotes gigs as well.
Right.
And he was like, do you want to do a gig in Glasgow? So this is about December going into January, and we were like, aye.
Sure, yeah.
Why not? I mean, we only brought about 20 people, but we were like,
right.
First gig in Glasgow, So, we obviously felt like,
You'd made it.
we felt like Oasis at this point. But no, that was a really good time. I went up from there all the way through to 2018. I think up until August, it was just brilliant. Gig after gig after gig in Glasgow. Did Dundee once at that point as well, and it went brilliant.
So if I want to find out more about listen to your music or whatever, where's the best place to do that?
Probably Spotify. Or
Spotify, to earn you that 2 pence.
Do that before we take all the stuff off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got a decent wee bio on there that I wrote as well.
So big fan.
So yeah, say Facebook. We're sort of most active on that, and Instagram. Facebook's the most serious. Instagram, still serious, but you
get the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, you get all that in your stories and that.
Pictures of the pizza you're ordering in between your songs. Perfect.
But Facebook is the one that's like, right, we've got something serious coming, that needs to go, we need to try and tell folk.
Because the whole world is on, like, literally everyone's on Facebook.
Oh, yeah. So for proper news.
Facebook
Well, I know. I was actually quite surprised when you said Facebook. The younger generation don't use Facebook.
I don't like it.
Well, yeah, no, I. If it wasn't for the business side of things, I'd probably be off it by now. But yeah, so that's it. So Facebook, Instagram, or Spotify. The Sandemans. Check it out. Thanks for coming along, guys.
Nice. Good to be up.
And that's us for episode 7. Just like that, over and done with. But yeah, folks, give us a follow, give us a subscribe, whatever button it is that you're looking at just now, get it on.
Push them buttons.
Push them buttons, man. If you've got any feedback for us, please let us know through all the media channels and stuff. You will find us on fcpod.net.
That's right. And if you want us to talk about your event or come along to your event and talk about it afterwards,
We'd
us in
love
touch.
to come along.
Yeah.
No, honestly, give us a shout if you've got something you'd like us to cover. We'd love to come along, check it out if we can make it. Obviously, we both have lives and work, unfortunately. But that's us. So yeah, and to lead us out today are the Sandemans.
With Lose Control.
Lose Control. Hit it, boys.